Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is one of the most influential books on human relationships that has ever been written. If you want to improve your skills and leadership abilities in relating to people, you should definitely read this book. Although the book was written in 1937, it can still be applied today despite 80 years having passed. It is because of this that the book is still regarded as one of the best-selling books of all time. Today, I'm going to talk about the 5 most important golden rules mentioned in the book. Most people like to talk about themselves. Each person's own past, achievements, talents, hobbies, and other characteristics are very valuable to them because each and every person plays a main role in their own life. According to Carnegie, if you want to be influential and gain the love and respect of the person across from you, then you have to be interested in that person, ask them questions about their own life, and give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. At the same time, you have to be a very good listener. A good conversationalist is not someone who speaks a lot, but rather, it's a person who is able to listen to and care for the other person. I did not follow this rule in the past. When I talked to someone else, I would always wait for them to finish their sentence and then immediately change the subject and talk about whatever it was that I wanted to. Thousands or even millions of people like me do the same. Let me tell you an example to show what I mean. Let's say that this is John. He is interested mostly in soccer, movies, and playing the guitar. John likes to talk to others about his own interests, just like everyone else does. Now John likes a girl named Jessica, and he is trying to catch her attention. As for Jessica, she is interested in playing the violin, computer games, and tennis. When Jessica starts talking to John about what she is interested in, John never gives much of a reaction and just waits impatiently for Jessica to finish her sentence so that he can change the subject and start talking about soccer. Jessica comes to the point that talking to John is no longer interesting to her and she starts to distance herself from him. Now let's turn the situation around. Imagine instead that John has listened very well to what Jessica is saying, giving her more opportunity to speak rather than speaking himself. Let's say that when Jessica speaks about playing the violin, he asks her questions about it and shows how playing the violin is also interesting to him. As a result, Jessica feels happy talking about herself. John's behavior makes an impression on her as if spending time with John makes her feel good, and therefore she starts to feel more positive feelings towards John. For this reason, Jessica feels better about herself and John ends up learning things he didn't know before, and most importantly, Jessica feels closer to John. Thus, the thing we should get most from this example is be genuinely interested in people and give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. Carnegie's second most important rule is, when you ask someone else to do something for you, rather than talking about how you will benefit from it, talk about how they will benefit from it. For example, I'd set a goal of having 1,000 subscribers within a month for this YouTube channel that I just started. In order to accomplish this, if I just ask you, please subscribe to this channel because my goal is to have 1,000 subscribers within a month. All you have to do is subscribe. Of course you wouldn't care, because most people don't care about the benefits that others receive. But if this video really helped you, if it has impacted your life even a tiny bit, and if after the video is over I made a plea and said, if you don't want to miss out on more of these videos when they're uploaded, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and then clicking the bell icon in order to receive notifications when new videos are uploaded, it would have more of an effect, because the message here doesn't emphasize my goal of getting 1,000 subscribers, but rather I talk about how you can improve yourself by watching these types of videos. This is likely to pique your interest. Carnegie gives a very good example on this topic. When we go fishing, we have to put a worm on the hook because we know that fish like worms, and it's only because of the worm that the fish will bite. We can enjoy a lot of different foods such as cake, but if we put a piece of cake on the hook, it probably won't attract fish, and in the end we won't catch any. For this reason, always talk about the things that the person across from you is interested in. The third most important advice Carnegie has for us is, tell people what's good in them and make them feel important. If there are few things in life that motivate people and connect them to life, arguably the most important one is for them to feel important. For example, let's say someone you know plays the guitar and you want to learn. If you asked him, I love the guitar and I want you to teach me how to play the guitar, he may try to teach you a few things. However, he will probably think that he doesn't have the time, and so you should find yourself a private teacher. If this continues for very long, he will eventually tell you that either he doesn't have the time and you need to find yourself a teacher, or he may even begin to think that you are selfish and do not respect his time. In either case, you will not get the results you want. We can also look at the situation from this perspective. Let's say you told him that you are a fan of the way he plays the guitar, and you tell him how much you appreciate him and that it is important for you that he alone teaches you how to play guitar, not someone else. Moreover, you emphasize that you do not want to take up his time and you understand how valuable his time is. In this case, it's likely that he'd be willing to teach you how to play the guitar without expecting anything in return, and he will enjoy doing it himself. As a matter of fact, you will get what you want from the situation by learning to play the guitar, all because you made him feel important. The fourth recommendation Carnegie makes that will change your life has to do with criticism. Carnegie writes, "Never criticize people. At the same time, never say you're wrong or what you are doing is wrong. Doing this will cause the people around you to distance themselves from you, because when you do this, the other person will automatically become defensive and end up wanting to defend themselves, reinforcing their belief that their thoughts and actions are right. Always try to empathize with the person in front of you, putting yourself in their shoes and trying to understand why they did what they did and said what they said. When you do this, the person across from you will see that you really do understand them, and they will begin to understand you and be willing to do what you want them to." Here's another example. Let's say that you discover that your child is not studying as much as they should be. If your approach to the situation is to say, "Why don't you study? I'm ashamed of you. Look at our neighbor's son. He got on the honor roll again. All his grades are good, and look at what you do. You're worthless." Your child will end up hating school and hating you too, because they will feel put down and will feel incompetent and worthless. As this continues, your child will try to put up a facade and wear a mask, showing you what they think you want to see. In fact, they will ignore their lessons even more. Carnegie suggests that you should always talk about your own mistakes first and let them know that you were once in their place. Then, explain to them how you fix your own mistakes and why they should fix theirs. By following this rule, if you can apply your experience to your child, you'll probably see different results. Here's another example. Let's say that you did not get into the university you wanted or graduated with the major you dreamed of, and now you don't have the job you imagined that you would have. If you told your child, "When I was your age, I hated studying, because it was so much more fun to go out with my friends, joke and fool around and play games, and so I absolutely did not want to study. I know it's boring to study. I don't think that anyone in the world actually likes to study. I do understand where you're at, but now that I am older, I realize how much of a mistake I made by not studying. I really wish someone had told me all of this back then. I probably would have forced myself to study. You see, I wanted to be a doctor, but because I didn't study, I wasn't accepted to medical school at the university, and instead I studied culinary arts. Being a cook is not a bad job, but I honestly don't like it at all. And I have to do it in order to make money so that I can provide for you. You see, since I didn't force myself to study for those 12 years, I now have to do what I don't like doing for the next 50 years. If you don't want to end up like me, then decide for yourself whether or not it's better to study." You see, after this, he will probably end up feeling that you really do understand him and that you support him. He will be more enthusiastic to study as a result. The fifth most important rule is, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathize with the person across from you. Once upon a time, I was running a restaurant. The cashier there somehow made a mistake in the records and recorded $4,000 instead of $40. As a result, we had to pay more taxes, and this was not a good situation at all. When I learned of this, I obviously became very angry and went to talk to the cashier. As soon as he saw me, he began to apologize before I was even able to say a word. I understand that I made a mistake. A huge mistake. I don't know how I'll be able to get over it. I realized that I was careless and I'm useless. Take a double portion for my salary and then fire me. I deserve whatever you end up doing. It'd be wrong for you to keep someone worthless like me around. At the time, I'd been getting ready to scold him. However, my attitude towards him changed immediately because of his response, and I said, "There's no need to exaggerate. We're all humans, of course, and we all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from our mistakes and not repeat them. I think you are a valuable employee. It's also very important to be able to understand the mistake that you made." And I didn't bring it up again. Of course, if the cashier had made excuses and said, "The restaurant was very busy and we had a lot of customers. On one side I had the waiters bothering me, and on the other side everyone else was asking me something. It was their fault that I made a mistake on the transaction," I would have gone more angry and end up harshly rebuking the cashier. But because the employee did the exact opposite, they gained even more respect in my eyes. At the same time, my anger was quenched and we continued working as we had before. Thus, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathize with the person across from you. Doing this will give you a greater influence in your relationships. If you like this video and you want me to make more videos like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Experience X, and like the video. Also, click on the bell icon once you subscribe so that you get notified immediately when I upload new videos. Thanks.